Yeah, but you know, you painted a very, well, I say extreme hypothetical situation, because that's not all we have here. What we have here is the case of a man who's run thrice. This is his fourth attempt.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he's saying, my certificates with the institution I served with, is it possible for you to get them? First question will be, what did he use the first time, the second time, the third time? And then he's not a stranger. He's served this country before. He's ruled the country before in his capacity as a military administrator. So can we then say that he really wasn't qualified at all during that period?
I will answer your question by the kind of confusion I've been through in respect of this matter. Yesterday I was reading the papers, Punch, Nation, and This Day. Punch said, we are in possession of Buhari's certificates. That's the caption. I think the Nation also said the same thing. Then This Day said, they are not in possession. We don't have it. When I read Punch, based on the caption, I said, oh, well, this matter is now resolved. When I read the story just says an army official who should talk about such an issue said, oh, anybody knows that if we are in possession of that certificate, you know what to do. You know you have to apply, and then if we have it, we would oblige with a copy, because we would always have a copy, and then you will also have your copy. And then the caption says, we are in possession. I cannot, the two do not match. Now, on social media, you have then yesterday I was on the social media and I opened and I said, Buhari's result has now been published. And I was happy and I wanted to see the result. They actually put WAEC logo, they put the school, and then I saw F9, and then A1 in Islamic Studies. I mean, people are joking with something that is so serious. Yes, I don't agree that a candidate for that lofty office should just fill a form and attach an affidavit and say my certificates are somewhere. This is a public organ, wherever it is, NDA, military, you can always obtain a copy because it's part of public records. And the best person to obtain that is the man himself, assuming you don't even have a copy. There's always a duplicate. I don't have my school cert result. It's lost. But I know that I have it in my old school. Thank God I'm not contesting any election, so I can say this openly, you know. But I can always get it. At work, I can go to WAEC and say, please, give me a certified true copy. I don't know
what if they say they can't find it? Will you sue them?
I will definitely sue them. They must find it.
If they don't have a record.
They must have a record. Now, you see, I subscribe to the notion that, yes, Nigeria needs to move forward. And, I mean, this is on the most, knowing that we don't have all the time in the world. This matter, it appears to be so tiny. It's not so serious. I will say this openly, INEC can do nothing.
Do you think it was deliberate on the part of the National Assembly not to have given INEC that power?
A lot of things are deliberately done, because when they are doing that, most of us don't even follow. We don't know what's going on. The law prescribes that some of these things, these amendments, they are supposed to be published so that referenda, people should contribute. Most of the time, we don't even follow. Nigerians are more in tune with, look, what will I eat today, in the morning, in the afternoon? So we don't follow. And most of the time, they don't go according to the steps prescribed by law. So when these amendments were going to be put in, I was fortunate to have read the proposed amendment as presented by the chairman of INEC. And I remember precisely that the man made the proposal. For instance, the issue of nullifying, I can't imagine. The law says if somebody's election is nullified for whatever reason, including, for instance, not being qualified, as in maybe at that point they now discover that the man does not have the certificate he says he has, the court then nullifies. Now, part of the amendment proposed was that the court should then go ahead to say that the person who came second in the election should take over. It was not included. It means assuming, and the same Electoral Act says whoever has won an election, even though he's being challenged in court, should remain in office while the case is on. You know the implication of that in Nigeria, in the Nigeria we're in. So assuming that, oh, it's even nullified, the implication is that then the election is nullified, there has to be another election all over again, money down the drain. And then the party that presented a candidate who was ordinarily not qualified would also have the chance to represent again. What is the sanction?
But what do we then do with history about a similar case? We know about the Bejuleki and then House of Reps. So don't those history have any bearing in this case whatsoever?
Even the Atiku case, there are precedents that should instruct us about the kind of amendment we need. We keep saying Nigerian democracy is growing. It's growing in terms of amount of money people are willing to donate for campaign funds. It's growing in terms of, well, maybe I'll call it, I don't want to say PDP, I mean, GDP. They say Nigerian economy has grown, the GDP has grown. It's just that our pockets have not grown. So in terms of campaign funding, we are seeing huge sums of money being mentioned. But in terms of the act, the law that regulates elections, the institution that should handle elections properly so-called, they're not growing. They're not being given the needed bite to ensure that Nigerian democracy grows. You have it in the Electoral Act, for instance, that for the presidential election, for instance, the highest amount of money you can use for campaign funding is 1 billion naira, maximum. Maximum. That takes into cognizance from the date that the dates of elections are fixed till the date of the election, you should not spend more than 1 billion. For governorship, 200 million.
But we know that's child's play.
That's in the law. What are the sanctions? Oh, if you breach that, this thing, you pay 500,000 fine to INEC. That's the fine. I mean, somebody says, where yam sellers are saying they will raise 5 billion, somebody says he has raised 21 billion. Nobody is talking about why are we always reactive, not proactive.
Is there a way out of this, especially we're talking about the controversy surrounding the certificate before elections?
The way out is to prescribe in the law that where this happens, INEC should have a discretion. INEC should be able to say, just like in the case of registering political parties, before you go to the electorate, INEC should be able to say, look, you are not qualified because of what you're, and they give them the time. I give you 7 days, 14 days, you have to do something about what you have presented. It's not good enough. Then the person will go, if indeed it's with the military authorities, he can always go there and get a copy.
Do you think that, why has this become an issue? Why is this an issue? I mean, if the first time, the second, the third time, it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Why is it an issue now?
Just like you, I honestly don't know why. I think it's just part of our political grandstanding. Probably, I don't want to join the fray. I know that on both sides of the divide, there have been series of mudslinging. You know, political parties are not really addressing the issues that should concern you and I. How are the Chibok girls going to be brought back? How is the military going to be properly funded so that our approach will not be ad hoc in terms of defense of the terrain? So that it's not when there is a war that we start buying implements. How are we going to pay salaries? So that it's not at 3 months of Christmas, people don't have money.
Yeah, but
how are we going to settle pensioners' issues?
What if somebody goes to court?
About
this qualification?
Oh,
matter?
yes, that's the procedure. That's the
Will
only
it become
way.
an issue?
Well, it's an issue now in public domain. But it's not an issue in the realm of law because nobody has taken it up properly. I mean, for instance, if anybody is seriously aggrieved and they actually feel strongly that the man does not have those certificates, if they have actually done their due diligence and they are sure that he didn't go to school, I think this is the best time to take it up in court. It's not likely that the matter will be settled. I mean, you can imagine a situation where INEC, for instance, will say, I'm disqualifying this person. Your vice presidential candidate, I'm disqualifying them. You imagine what would happen when some politicians are already calling for a revolution. When some are saying, no, there will be war, there will be bloodshed, Nigeria will burn.
But the law is the law.
The law is the law. But, I mean, so for now, the law as it is that if you are aggrieved, go to court. Anything else, social media, on electronic media, all the things we are saying, they have not been subjected to the litmus test. Let a court of law pronounce, and I don't know which judge will deliver the ruling, whether midday or midnight, to now say that, oh, this election should be truncated because a candidate is not qualified.
But the law has this bloody effigy, that blindfold. Did they see all those things?
You just said it. The law is an effigy. An effigy is different from a real person. A real person can see and he thinks. So yes, the judges are also human beings. I mean, there are certain things that they dump at the doorstep of courts, simply because politicians want somebody to take the blame, the fall guy. Otherwise, why would the chairman of INEC ask for far-reaching reforms? Reforms that will make INEC truly independent. And all those important portions of the amendments as proposed were left out. I still can't understand. When you read the man's proposed amendments, it reinforces my belief that the man is actually very neutral.
So maybe that will form some issues for these forthcoming elections for those who are going to the National Assembly. But who knows? They can promise anything these days.
Yes, you guys are, I mean, you'll have the opportunity to probably conduct the debate, interview them. These are issues you should throw at them.
We hope that both of them, all the parties will oblige to the debate.
We hope that they will all show up, I mean, so that there will be no show this time around.
All right, then, John Oloyede is a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning. Yeah. We'll be back after this break. Join us again.